Today I'm going to be showing you an overview of Snap and Read, a software that we hope to bring to the students of Muncie Community Schools in full force by 2018. So kind of a little overview of Snap and Read, and we'll get to a slight demonstration. So when we look at what it is, it's a Chrome extension which kind of just hangs up right around here. You would have all kinds of icons with your different extensions if I had my toolbar more to the left. It's sort of like an app for people not familiar with Chrome extensions, but the cool thing is that it will follow the student's Google account rather than just being available on certain computers. It also allows students to listen to different texts like PDFs, images, websites, pretty much anything that is pushed to the student or the student finds on the internet. And they can listen through headphones for their individual experience because the text can be leveled to the student's grade level reading ability. So after students take the testing component of Snap and Read, which takes about an hour, we would know their independent reading level and even what voice they prefer to have their text read in, and we would be able to input that into their account so that when they activated the voice, it would level words. So if a word was really like an 8th grade level word, the extension would automatically change that vocabulary to something that was more on, like, let's say a 5th grade level. The other cool thing is that it will log the student's time spent using the extension so that we will be able to see at the end of our pilot program how long each student was actually using the technology to see whether or not it was being used the way it should be. It's important because it can give the opportunity to close the reading gap that we are currently seeing in our schools. It meets individual student needs, and it delivers content in a way that normally wouldn't be understood in the traditional classroom setting. And it gives students more equitable access to the curriculum, which basically means we're giving each student what they need, not giving each student the same thing. So right now I just want to let you watch it and see how it works. With this particular demonstration, it will only show like the reading portion. I'll show you how to change the voices and we can listen to some different voices, but I haven't taken the test, so there is no like independent reading level inputted for my teacher account like there would be for a student. So the first thing I want to do is show you kind of like where we can change the settings so they are able to change what color they need their text, what color they want the words to be highlighted as it's read. We have the person that's speaking, you can kind of pick. So Alex is the default, but if we changed it to something like Daniel, it may sound a lot different. My computer just a
Welcome to the Snap and Read extension. You can change the pitch, rate, and volume of speech using the sliders below.
Okay, so that's Daniel, and then if we go to someone more like, let's pick Agnes and see.
Welcome to the Snap and Read extension. You can change the pitch, rate. Welcome to the Snap and Read extension. You can change the pitch, rate, and volume of speech using the sliders below.
Okay, so you can change the volume of the language so that it's not like blasting their ears out.
Welcome to the
You
Snap
can also
and Read
change the pitch so it's
extension.
lower.
Welcome to the Snap and Read
And then they can make it as fast or as slow as they want to. I'm going to leave them kind of in the middle.
Welcome to the Snap and Read extension. You can change the pitch, rate, and volume of speech using the sliders below.
I'm going to go back to Alex because he's our default.
Welcome to the Snap and Read extension. You can change the pitch, rate, and volume of speech using the sliders below.
And then text complexity I'm just going to put right here in the middle. This slider doesn't really change anything right now because I don't have an input, like a grade level input for my teacher account. But they are able to go here and change their settings at any time. They won't be able to change their text complexity because we will set that in the program. But looking at a few of the different formats, if we go over here to just a PDF of an article that I would give often, probably weekly in my classroom, that would traditionally be on 1 grade level, or maybe 2. now will take that grade level, and if it's not 100% appropriate for them, it will change the words, and at the very least it will read it to them. So if they click their little blue Snap and Read extension up here, it will should open up down here on the side. So if I'm opening it, now it's just taking me to the extension. Sorry, give me 1 second. So here we go. So you click this little blue extension and it should pop in and out. With the speakers, that's just to mute and unmute the volume. For the student with this little icon, that's going to be where they get their little cross arrows like this, and they can highlight and drag, and it will begin reading it to them in whatever settings they've chosen.
Synopsis: Civil rights leader Medgar Evers was born in 1925 in Mississippi. In 1954, he became the first Field State Officer Secretary of the NAACP in Mississippi. His job was to travel around the state organizing efforts to help blacks vote, get jobs, and get an education. He also organized protests against companies that were unfair to African Americans and investigated crimes against blacks. On June 12, 1963, Evers was assassinated outside of his home in Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay, so that's just a little sample of what it can do. And then if I click this button over here, it will kind of just give a little summary of what it is. Since it's not very much text to begin with, it won't give a full summary, but that option is available for our students as well. So it will read a PDF, which most screen readers won't do. It should also read something like my infographic for this particular project. So let's see here. And it does take my computer a
Within
second
our
to
school
load.
district and our particular middle school, students are coming into classes greatly behind in reading. In many cases, students may be reading more than 3 years behind their current grade level. The chart below shows reading scores from the beginning of the year to the middle of the year as compared to the typical minimums for each grade level. As students progress through middle school, the reading gap is getting wider.
Okay, so it will read pretty much anything that the student takes their crosshairs and asks it to read.
District and school reading levels.
I've only come across a few images where it starts to read like the code instead of the text on the images. But then if they were to go somewhere like CNN, we could pick, immigration ban stuns in Inger's World, and they could come here, activate Snap and Read up here in the corner, or at least it should pop out. There it comes. And we could just pick like this little section right here. I know I would have to make it
Washington,
bigger.
CNN, a President Donald Trump seismic move to ban more.
Alright, I apologize about that ad there. But they could come over and take their crosshairs and highlight some text, and it would read it to them on a website. So basically, they're able to read anything
Trump's
that they
executive
want.
order bars citizens of 7 Muslim-majority countries from entering the United States for the next 90 days and suspends the admission of all refugees for 120 days. Here are the latest developments of a day I led with airport detentions, protests, and legal unwavering.
Okay, so as you can see, it's making some mistakes here, and I would say that one reason is that I probably don't have the selection highlighted as much as I should. So here it said unwavering instead of maneuvering. These are some different things that Snap and Read is working on, and that we are currently working on with them to see what we can do about fixing them. As with any technology, it's going to take a minute to work out all of the kinks, especially when you're trying to use it in an educational setting. So let's go ahead and try this again and see if it gets any better.
Trump's executive order bars citizens of 7 Muslim-majority countries from entering the United States for the next 90 days and suspends the admission of all refugees for 120 days. Here are the latest developments of a day I led with airport detentions, protests, and legal maneuvering.
Okay, so it still messed up the word filled, but overall the harder words were better, which is what I was hoping would happen. If we jump back to the presentation here, we are hoping to launch this in August of 2017, and we really want to pilot it in 5 fifth grade classrooms and with around 20 middle school students in the 7th and 8th grades. And the hope is that we'll be able to gather data and results that show reading improvement, and that if we show improvement, we can go back to our grant team and ask for the number of licenses for as many of our students that need it throughout the whole corporation in elementary and middle schools, especially like 3rd to 8th grade, so that we can make sure we're really getting those kids on track before high school. And the hope would be that after a few years of implementation, that by the time they get to middle school, they are on grade level and won't need the services anymore. I hope you learned something from this. If you have any questions or comments, please see the email address above and go ahead and shoot those to me.